Over the years, the aviation industry has enjoyed the proactive policies of the PDP administrations in the sector. But is our airspace safer now?
Would you believe that when I came into office as a minister in 2005 or 2006, whenever it was, the radar system we were using was the one that we were using in 1979. And it only covered a little bit outside Lagos. We had to change all that. In fact, there was no radar. Sorry, there was no radar. We were using Ghanaian radar. We now had to resurrect the one from 1979 to cover the Lagos area until we now brought in a very sophisticated radar system, which I commissioned, and I signed the contract for it. And it's now, it's been functional ever since. It covers every inch of Nigerian airspace. We didn't have that before we came in. If you look at the runway in the second runway, 18LR, I remember the name very well, in Lagos Airport, we're the ones that started that. I'm the one that commissioned that. I'm the one that built it. If you look at the runway in Port Harcourt Airport, if you remember, Port Harcourt was closed for about a year. I came in, we mobilized Julius Berger. They finished the thing, and it was commissioned about a month or two after we left office. So we did all these things and so much more. From FAN, we reformed all the various parastatals and so on and so forth, and we did a lot of things. So many routes, international routes that we're applying today, we opened those routes. So many airlines down and so on and so forth. We're the ones that gave them the opportunities and licenses to fly. And of course, we closed down the bad ones like ADC, Sosoliso, and so on and so forth.
As at the time we left it, we have gotten our FAA Category 1. We got the Cat 1 after a review of our airports and our systems. The American FAA, which goes to certify airports to allow American airplanes come, gave Nigeria a Category 1 certification. So we had that. We had also done TRACON under the Jonathan administration to create for a total coverage of the Nigerian airspace. So a lot of improvement has happened. We have revamped the NCAA to produce more technical staff to be able to manage the aircraft and the pilots that fly in Nigerian airspace. TRACON was done under the NAMA. Our Federal Airports Authority was revamped by the remodeling program that remodeled about 22 airports across Nigeria, and then also introduced the construction of new airports to show that Nigerians have been growing in time. We're not standing still. So we have to make sure that we build for today and for the future. So I believe that Nigerian aviation was on the right track. It's unfortunate that this government, in commissioning the airports, give the impression that they did something about the airports. There was no such thing. The airport was a loan from the China Exim Bank. It was $400 million with $100 million counterpart fund, and Nigeria paid the $100 million. And the Chinese government are now doing their own $400 million. So all the airport issues was resolved before we left office. In fact, as at the time we left, we have chosen all the internal finishes for the airport. Our staff went to China to choose all the internal finishes in the airport.
PDP recognizes the importance of job creation and social empowerment and has over the years worked closely with the Nollywood industry in a bid to create a platform that will be beneficial to Nigerians, both young and old.
Several times, the villa invited all the Nollywood actors, gave them the recognition, created them, brought them into governance in a way that their voices were used to throughout the culture of the country, in a way that when there were certain issues, to talk to the youth, because the youth connected with them. A lot of the content, there was a lot of funds that were given to them at the time. There was the creation of that. There was the recognition of Nollywood.
While Nigeria is not where it ought to be educationally, the PDP government took the country from comatose state to where we have it now. Indeed, there was limited infrastructure, manpower, and even political will to walk the talk of Nigeria standing in the League of Educated Nations.
There is no government that had liberalized the educational sector and landscape like also the PDP. We sat down as government to say there has been a lot of educational imbalance. What do? You must correct that imbalance. In one fell swoop, President Jonathan created 14 federal universities, which is unprecedented.
The PDP government as well signed into law 14 universities, new universities built and funded, one in each geopolitical zone, again, to encourage children to go to school, to encourage them to get the highest, most affordable education in a way that made us comparable to our peers across the world.
There's a lot of problems in the northern part of the country with the Almajiri system of education.
The Almajiri schools was such a revolution. The PDP government realized that for Nigeria as a country to develop, all parts of Nigeria must develop. And we realized that what we have is a demographic tsunami.
In the north, we just adopt that name. Our model was not the real Almajiri, but we just adopt that name so that it will appeal to the people because they are already used to that Almajiri education. It was purely secondary school, comprehensive secondary school.
Between Almajiri schools and nomadic education schools, we've been able to build over 2,000 schools in the northern part of this country and some areas in the southeast and southwest. These schools are non-existent now. 90% of them are non-functional because APC-led federal government cannot maintain them, cannot service them.